Anna at the Sewing Studio here, and in this video I am going to demonstrate to you the Brother 4234D Overlocker. I'll talk you through all its features, I'll show you everything that comes in the box, I'll show you just how easy it is to thread, yes it is easy, and we'll do some sewing and show you its capabilities, and then I'll talk a bit about warranty and support. So we've split those into chapters, so feel free to head straight to one section if you don't have the time to stay for the whole video. And whilst I'm talking about that, please do subscribe to our channel. It's free, and hit the little bell at the top to be notified when we upload new videos. So the Brother 4234D is a 2, 3 or 4 thread overlock machine, and that gives you a few more stitch options than you get on a 3 or 4 thread. Mostly flat locking, but then you also have obviously your 4 thread standard overlock, 3 thread wide, narrow, a rolled hem, you can do a blind hem, you can do gathering. It's really good for sewing in elastic, all sorts of different things that you can do. Now, as I said, it is very easy to thread. So you've got colour-coded thread paths that are numbered all the way down to the loopers as well. These are what's called lay-in tension dials, so they're much easier than the kind of dials that you have that you need to turn on the front of a machine. And it also has a built-in lower looper threader. So one of the most trickiest elements to thread on an overlocker is the back of the lower looper, because it goes right into the machine here. But this lever here brings it right forward so you can have access to that. And obviously I will show you that when we get to the threading and sewing section. Now, because they're lay-in tension dials, when you want to change your thread, you can cut them off at the top here, tie them on in a small knot, and then gently pull them through, other than the eye of the needle, as the knot will be too big, so you need to stop before you get there. But it does have a built-in needle threader for both the left and the right needle to help you thread the eye of that needle, or those needles. You're able to change the length of a stitch from around 2mm up to 4mm, and the width as well, roughly about the same. As an overlocker, it has 2 sets of feed teeth and what's called differential feed. This is easily adjusted with the dial on the side here, and for most things they'll both be running at the same rate, but you can slow down the front set of teeth to deal with any kind of tricky fabrics that tend to pucker, or you can increase the speed on the teeth at the front, and that will help you achieve a gather, but it's also really good for super stretchy fabrics that tend to ripple as you're sewing them as well. And you can also adjust the pressure that is applied to the presser foot, so that if you're sewing something quite delicate which can tend to get chewed in the teeth, you can slacken that off and feed everything through consistently. The cutting knife you can retract, so you don't need to cut every time that you're overlocking, but it's there if you want to, and you can change the width of the cut as well. Over here, if I take this piece off, you've then got a free arm for sewing any kind of tubular items. So just pop that back on. Now, in terms of what comes in the box, the machine will arrive like this, and then you've got the standard presser foot already installed on the machine, as well as a blind stitch foot and a range of accessories. And then you've got your combined power lead and foot control, an operation manual, as well as a getting started DVD. It's got a soft cover that goes over the top to keep all the dust off, and then it has a handy trap bin that just slots in the front there. And that catches all your cuttings as you're going along, so everything stays nice and neat and tidy. So let's move on to threading the machine. Now, when you thread any machine, the first thing that you want to check is that you've got the presser foot in the up position. And that is because when the presser foot is down, the tension discs that are in here clamp together. So if you try and thread it with the presser foot down, the thread can just lay on the top of the tension discs, and then when you go to sew, you'll have a nice jam up because there is no tension on that thread. So if it's in the up position, the discs are open and the thread can lay in there as it should. So when threading an overlocker, you need to thread from the right to the left. So the lower looper, the upper looper, then the right and the left needle. So I'm going to grab the end of my thread and then go behind and in number 1 and around to number 2. Number 3 is this one up here, and you just want to pop it in and around, and then that's in there. And then presser foot is up, as I was saying, so the thread can then lay in the tension dial there. If you want, you can also just give it a good tug to make sure it is firmly in there. And then down in here, we're following the blue line and the numbers. So I'm just going to grab my tweezers. So number 4 is coming down in here. Number 5 is in that one. 6 and 7 are indicated here, and then we've also got blue dots on there, so it goes in underneath both of those. And then in and around number 8, she says. Tweezers are an essential piece of kit. They do come with them and have storage just here, look, as you would have seen me pull them out just now. So now we need to get into the back of the lower looper. And the way that we do that is on this hand wheel on the side here, you want to make sure that the line on the wheel is lined up with the line on the machine. And then number 9, so we've gone 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 9, we flick that switch across, and then the very back of the looper is revealed for us to pop the thread, and we're going in and around this triangle piece here. So you just want to hold on to your thread and pop it in and around. I'm being awkward because I want you to be able to see, so I'm on the wrong angle, but let me just do it a minute and then you can see afterwards. There it is, so in and around that triangle, and then if you turn the hand wheel, you'll hear that pop back into place. There you go. And then make sure again that your line is lining up with the top line there, because then the needles are in the right position for the needle threader when you get to that. So the last thing to do for the lower looper is to thread through the eye, just in there like that. And then go under the upper looper and out the back there. Okay, so that's the trickiest element done, which I don't think is too bad at all. So on to the next one, which is the upper looper. So I've already gone in here, 1 and 2. So I'm going into number 3, down to number 4, 5. Number 6 is just this top one here, and there's a red dot. So I'm just going to go in underneath there, in number 7, and then through the eye of the upper looper. I really need to trim the end of this thread. There we go. There it goes. And again, go out the back. Oops. Put that in, and then under the foot. Okay, that's the loopers done. So I'm just going to close that up. So when it comes to the needles, you just want to grab your thread, and actually, despite what I was saying about the order to thread things in, I forgot with this machine, the thread guide here is only accessed from the right. So actually it's a good idea to do your left needle first so that nothing gets tangled. So I'm already in number 1 and 2, and I've gone in number 3, down into number 4, around number 5, and then you've got a guide here, and this is indicating that this thread needs to go to the left of that guide. So I'm just going to go in there, and then this is the piece that I was talking about. So you've got the last guide just above the needle. So if we'd put the right one in first, it would want to sit over this side and everything would get tangled. So you've already got your hand wheel in the right position for the needle threader. So you just want to push it over to the left. Now, that can look like you're in the right position. Can you see that gap there? But actually it's not. There is a click into position. So again, that can feel like it is, but actually it clicks into position. And then you just lay the thread in between that piece of metal there, and up and over number 7 is written on there. And then you can just cut the excess off on the side, and then you're just going down, back up, and that's your needle threaded. I'm just going to give that to myself. There we go. So I'm just going to pop that around again and under the foot. Let's pull through a little bit more. There it goes. There we are. And then exactly the same for the right needle. In there, around there, up there, except you're going to the right of this guide now. And then in this one down here. And then push the needle threader over to the right. Exactly the same principle. And there's the right needle threaded. Really does take the hard work out of trying to find the eye of the needle sometimes. That's just got caught on the hook up in there. That can happen sometimes. Just pull that out, there we go. And then again, under the foot. So now you've got all 4 threads under the foot and out to the side. Okay, then what you want to do is test your threading. So just take the hand wheel and hold on to your threads and just gently pull them as you're looping. Let's just drop the foot down a minute. And what you're feeling for is to make sure that everything is moving freely, nothing's getting jammed up. That all feels good. So I'm just going to close the door and then pop my foot on the foot pedal. Pull those out and I can see that everything is chaining as I would expect. So then you know you're good to go with your fabric. So I'm going to start with some cotton fabric first, and I'm going to start with all my tensions on number 4 and we'll see what it's like. So you just want to raise the presser foot and pop the fabric in underneath as far as it will go, and then start sewing. And that was up to full speed there, so it's nice and fast, but you can slow it down if you want to. And it's not too bad noise-wise for an overlocker. It's not the noisiest, it's not the quietest, it's about in between. And here you can see your nice neat overlock. That's on the top and that's underneath. But I can see the red thread underneath, which is the top looper. And what you're aiming for actually is for the loops to interlock on the very edge of the fabric. So I need to adjust my tensions accordingly on this. So as the upper looper is going around and the lower looper is pulling it around, I'm going to try with, hang on, let me get my brain around this a minute. So that one is too loose and that one is too tight. So I'm going to go up to 5 on the top one and down to 3 on the lower looper. Let's see if I'm right. So just pop it in underneath and away we go. And it feeds nice and easily on this, so I'm just kind of guiding it at the front. Just cut those off. And yeah, that's much better. So now you can see the whole of the top loop on there and the bottom loop is there, and they're interlocking right on the edge of the fabric, which is exactly what you want. And that's what you need to do with an overlocker sometimes. You know, they're all very different and fabrics are all very different. So if we switch to a thicker fabric now, so I've got some denim here. This is a 10-ounce denim that we sell in our shop. So again, I'm just going to pop it underneath there. I'm not going to change anything on the settings because this is quite stable as the cotton is stable. So in theory, it should be okay, but let's see. Yeah, and as suspected, that's exactly what you want. So you've got your 2 needles sewing your seam, and then the upper looper doing the loop on the top, and the lower looper doing the loop on the bottom. And again, like I say, you're aiming for them to interlock right on the very edge. And it gives a nice, neat seam that's also very robust. You know, that's kind of the whole point of using an overlocker. So it's a nice, neat seam. And you can then, obviously with denim, fold your seam over and then on your sewing machine, go down and do your nice neat top stitching on there. Now when it comes to something bulkier and stretchy, so I've got some fleece here. Now you can very simply, you know, if you were just making a blanket, you know, a dog blanket or, you know, any type of blanket really, you can just go through one layer. So I'm going to pop this in underneath. We'll leave the settings like this and we'll see what it's like. Okay, and actually that's done a really nice job of that. I've not needed to change any of the tensions whatsoever. Again, your loops are coinciding and interlocking on the edge there, and that's the underneath. Obviously, if you were making a blanket, I mean, you might want to do a different colour edge, or you could do the same colour as your fabric. So when it's a bit bulkier then, let's go through 2 layers of this. Now, because this is thicker, I am going to increase the stitch length, and that helps to stop it kind of pulling that all the way kind of down in. Just slightly, from 3mm to 4. And I'm also not going to cut this time, so I want to keep that folded edge, so I'm going to retract the knife. So you just pull that out and slide it, like turn it towards you, down and in. And then I'm just going to be sewing right on the edge here. So I'm just going to lift my foot up and pop that in and make a start. I was going slow because I thought it might have struggled to get it underneath, but actually it's taken it really well. And that's done quite a nice job of that. I'm just going to show you under the other side. And as I say, you've got your loops interlocking either side there. And it's a really nice result. So it just goes to show how easy it is to use this machine. So hopefully you didn't find the threading too bad, but actually I haven't needed to adjust any tension since setting it for the cotton. You might well need to, you know, if you've got something quite fine, super stretchy, things like that, but on the whole, it is very easy and natural to use. So this machine comes with 3-year warranty for domestic use and a 1-year warranty for commercial use. Inside you'll find this card that explains that to you and how to register your machine with Brother. And we're here as well at the sewing studio to help you with the purchase of your new machine. We're sewers ourselves and we know our machines inside and out. All you need to do is just simply get in touch. Now we've come to the end of this video. I hope you feel more confident about the capabilities and ease of use of the Brother 4234D Overlocker. And you may have decided that it's the right machine for you. If so, head on over to our website and check out with yours now. Delivery is fast and it's also free. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again soon.